So how do you relate to that? The idea of the material and the esoteric. Do you even see a distinction there, or what has you feel grounded? And have you ever not felt grounded, actually?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say I was not being very successful in being in this world for a really long time. All I wanted to do was escape it. And I didn't want,
Into like dream realms. Is that what you mean?
yes, into
Okay.
any other realm that wasn't governed by this society and the way that people were. It was just like devastating to me. I couldn't handle the pain that I saw and the suffering, and I felt like it didn't need to be this way. And so like my whole plan was to like, it's so cute now. Like I was going to get $10,000 together and buy a piece of land on Costa Rica and just like live in a little hut and eat off the land and like do that for the rest of my life. And I mean, I think there's an energy in me that would actually be just fine with that. But it really wasn't my path. And it became clear that my path was to be able to move between realms, and to meet this realm on its own terms. And it took a bit. It took a bit because I had to own a part of myself, the part of myself that belongs to this realm. That's the part of myself that I disowned. And so bringing that back and caring about things like money and the material and being intentional in my experience in this place, which felt just a lot harder, at least in the beginning. It was really a piece of work, you know? But now it's way more fun. Like if you go to as many realms as you can. And I think for me, it's been a little bit different because actually it's been more of a process of recognizing that I can completely lose myself and untether from this reality. And as long as I can find my way back, it's actually fine.
How do you find your way back? Or how do you know that you can?
My experience has been that actually, like I misspoke. I don't find my way back. It calls me back. Like it brings me back.
So you don't have to find your way back. So you just know that it brings you back. Yeah, I can relate to that in my psychedelic experiences, like the fear of letting go and surrendering to a psychedelic journey, which is a kind of like letting go of the sense of self, is this fear that I won't be able to return because I love this reality. But I also am, not really lately, but previously I was really tempted and enamored with the idea of letting go of this reality just to feel what it's like to not be in this self and reality. And so that psychedelics really served that, loosening the grip on it. But it's that existential fear, like, oh my God, but am I going to be able to come back? I love my wife and kids. I'm happy to let go of the idea that I exist so that I don't have to be like attached to things, but like I want to exist because I love them. And so,
yeah, but there it is, right? Because I think actually that's sort of like the gamble is because I think it's the love that brings us back.
Yeah,
It's
it does
that
feel like a gamble.
the self that we are is loved here, is wanted. And
Yeah, that self is wanted, right? As an illusion, as a unique entity of consciousness, right?
yeah,
Yes, there's a gravity that pulls at it, that pulls it back into existence.
yeah.
That's really beautiful.
And this is actually one of my favorite somatic prompts. Regardless of whether it's inside of like an asana practice or some other kind of practice, but actually just letting yourself come into the gravitational field of the earth, because that's her love. That's her loving of you. And when we feel,
nice.
right?
Yeah,
It's like when we feel relaxed, that's actually what's happening. It's like, we're like, just like letting gravity actually hold me to this earth.
Imagine that. What a gift that is like for me, that's a liberation of the idea of gravity as co-opted by the patriarchal, materialistic, mechanistic worldview, or as just some inert force that has nothing but, science behind it. Instead of it's like it being like Gaia's love, like it's her embrace or her yearning. It's like, that is beautiful. The love of a mother. And that almost like all matter, the more matter there is, the more love there is, in the sense of it's wanting to pull towards you in gravity. That's so cool. Imagine, because I mean, I've had meditations where you feel the weight of your body, you feel gravity pulling on you, but never was it that little beautiful kind of ingredient of the mass of Gaia pulling you towards her, like, and feeling gravity as love. I love that.
Now you know.
Now I know. Now it's with me for the rest of my life, like a number of other things that I'll mention a little bit that I have on my list that you've given me. But just to wrap up on the psychedelics piece, what I have ultimately found through my willingness to surrender is that every time I am brought back, I don't have to come back. It just, I am brought back into this self. So I can relate to the return as not something I do, but something that occurs when I am willing to trust, you know?
Yeah, I know. And it still feels dicey, you know?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. And it, you know, even in not necessarily like, actually on a smaller scale than psychedelics, but another thing that I've experienced as a shifting of realms. I actually had a teacher that helped me to see this too, kind of similar to you, that I was like, because I was having an experience that like, actually on a psychedelic journey that I shared about, or like where all of my friends had turned into something else. I'll just leave it at that. Just keep a little bit of privacy, but like, they had turned into something. They weren't who they normally were. They were something else. And when I shared this with a teacher of mine, you know, my interpretation was that I had taken my psychology and my fears, and I had metamorphosized them into this something else, with painting it with my illusory idea onto that reality. And my teacher's read of it was like, no, you had actually shifted into a parallel realm in which that is reality. Yeah. And that's always there. And that was like what you were saying. And I was like, holy shit, that makes so much more sense and feels so much more true. Even though like before I'd had an experience like that, it sounded crazy.
No, I know. And it's kind of funny because it's like, I don't think it's everybody, but I think kind of the pervasive story in our society that everything is a function of psychology. And it's not true. It's not true.
It's just one idea. Yeah. Yeah. Psychology is just a perspective to look at it all.
Right. Well, and it's so funny because it hasn't been around for that long, that perspective.
No, but it's blinded us to so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this is why I'm so excited to be alive right now, is because it's also coming back, you know.
Totally.
It's like a mushroom. Like it looks like nothing's there. And then it rains and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there are mushrooms everywhere, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It is coming back. There's like a great awakening happening. There's like, I know that there's always people telling stories about that, but there's so many people having experiences that are different. I mean, just politically, there's so much like disruption happening. There's so many cracks, like the way AI is like shifting reality too for us. It's a really wild time to be alive.